All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into artificial intelligence. It's a technology that's pretty much everywhere, completely reshaping our world. But what is it, really? We're going to cut through all that hype and get to some real, clear answers. And we're doing it all by looking at this major study from the European Parliament that's trying to figure out, hey, how do we make sure this AI thing actually works for everyone? Okay, so here's the game plan. We're going to start by defining what AI even is. Then, we'll look at the 3 waves of its history. After that, we'll get into its impact today, what we can do about it, and finally, this idea of running our own race. All right, first things first. Let's define artificial intelligence and cut through some of that hype. Because let's be real, the term AI is used for everything these days, right? From crazy movie robots to, your email spam filter. So to have a real conversation, we've got to be on the same page. So, we're going to lean on the official definition from the European Commission. The really important words here are intelligent behavior and taking action. See, it's not about a machine thinking or feeling like a person. Not at all. It's about a system that can look at its environment, make a decision on its own, and then do something to hit a specific goal. It's all about doing, not dreaming. And this leads to a super important point. The AI we have right now, it's all what we call narrow AI. It can be crazy powerful, but only at one specific thing. Think about an AI that can beat the world's best chess player, but it can't even tell you how to boil an egg. That's narrow AI. It's a total world away from the artificial general intelligence, or AGI, that you see in the movies. The thinking, feeling, self-aware robot? Yeah, that stuff is still firmly in the realm of science fiction.
Okay, so how do we get this narrow AI anyway? Well, it wasn't some big bang moment. It was more of an evolution, a story that kinda unfolds in what experts call 3 waves.
So you can really break it down like this. The first wave was something called symbolic AI, which kicked off way back in the 50s. The second wave, that's the one we're in right now, is all about machine learning. And that third wave, well, that's the sci-fi AGI stuff we were just talking about, the big question mark for the future. This first wave, people actually call it good old-fashioned AI, which I kinda love. And it's because it was all about human experts. Programmers would literally sit down and write out every single rule. If you see this, then do that. It's like a giant, super detailed instruction manual. It worked pretty well for things with clear rules, but it was, really limited. But then came the second wave, and it was a total game changer. Machine learning completely flips the script. Instead of people writing the rules, you just feed the machine a ton of data and tell it what a good outcome looks like. And then it figures out the rules all by itself. It literally automates the process of learning. It's a huge shift.
And the report has this brilliant analogy to help you get it. Imagine you're a hiker on a mountain, but you're in a super thick fog. You can't see anything. Your goal is to get to the very bottom of the valley. So what do? You feel the ground right where you are, find the steepest way down, and take one step. Then you do it again and again. That's pretty much exactly what a machine learning algorithm does. It makes millions of tiny little steps, and with each step, it's trying to lower its error rate until it finally finds the best possible answer, the bottom of the valley.
And that brings us back to that third wave, which, like we said, is still just out there on the horizon. It's this dream of a general intelligence that can reason and learn about all sorts of different things, just like we do. But, and this is a big but, getting there would take a breakthrough on a scale we haven't even imagined yet. Okay, so we've got the basics down. Now, let's get to the real meat of it. Why does any of this matter? What's the actual impact of this second wave machine learning AI on our world, right here, right now? Let's talk about the good and the not so good.
One of the biggest issues is transparency, or really, the lack of it. It's not just one problem, it's kind of 4. First, there's the black box problem. The AI learns on its own, so sometimes even the people who made it can't tell you why it made a certain decision. Weird, right? Then you've got companies keeping their code secret. Makes sense, but it doesn't help. Third, half the time, we don't even know we're talking to an AI. And finally, you have the hype versus reality, which can be a pretty big gap.
And this whole transparency mess, it leads us to a really, really critical question, one that's at the absolute core of how AI affects our society.
So, can an algorithm be biased? The report is crystal clear on this. Oh yeah, absolutely. AI systems aren't these perfectly neutral, objective things. They're more like mirrors. They learn from the data we give them. And our data reflects our world, warts and all. So if our society has biases baked into it, well, the AI doesn't just learn them, it can actually make them worse.
And if you want a really shocking example, just look at what happened with Microsoft's chatbot Tay back in 2016. The idea was simple. Let it loose on Twitter and let it learn from real conversations. What could go wrong? Well, in less than 24 hours, it turned into a complete nightmare, just spewing awful, hateful stuff. They had to shut it down immediately. Tay didn't come up with that hate on its own. It was just a perfect, horrifying mirror of the data it was fed.
So all of this puts us in a really tricky spot, like we're walking a tightrope. On one side, there's the risk of underuse. What if we're too scared to use AI and miss out on solving huge problems, like curing diseases or tackling climate change? But on the other side, there's the risk of overuse, just slapping AI onto things where it really doesn't belong, like deciding who gets a job or a loan, where its biases can do some serious, real-world damage.
Okay, that's a lot to take in, but understanding the challenges is the first step. The next, obviously, is asking, so what are we going to do about it? How can we actually steer this thing in a better direction?
Well, the good news is there are a ton of ideas out there. The report lays out more than 100 of them, and they all fall into 3 big buckets. First, there's policy, stuff governments can do. Second, technology, what the builders and designers can do. And third, society, which is where we all come in.
Just to give you a quick taste, on the policy side, things like creating a single digital market could really help. For the tech itself, a big idea is building our values right into the systems from the start. Privacy by design, fairness by design. And for society, it really comes down to investing in skills and education so everyone is ready for this new world.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important point. This isn't just about playing defense or reacting to problems. It's about deciding what we actually want to achieve with AI and then running our own race to get there. And here's a really powerful idea from the report. AI is not the goal. It's just a tool. We shouldn't just be building AI for the sake of building AI. The real challenge is to first figure out what problems we as humans want to solve. And then, and only then, we should ask, okay, can AI help us with that?
This is what running our own race is all about. The report suggests that instead of just trying to copy what other countries are doing, Europe has a chance to do something different. It can build an AI ecosystem that's based on its own specific values, things like protecting people's fundamental rights and their data, and making sure citizens are always at the heart of the conversation.
And that really leaves us with one final, pretty deep thought to chew on. We've talked about how AI is like a mirror, right? It learns from our world and reflects back everything it sees, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So the ultimate question really isn't about the tech, it's about us. If we want our AI to be better, maybe the first step is building a better world for it to learn from.